Also breaking this afternoon, Metro police officer has been indicted for murder. Andrew Delkey is charged with the death of Daniel Hambrick last July. You might recall Delkey's accused of shooting Hambrick in the back several times as he ran away. News 4's Kim St. Onge is live in Nashville. Kim, you just picked up the official indictment.
And I have it right here, Lauren. So it says the grand jury finds Officer Delkey intentionally and with premeditation killed Daniel Hambrick here. This grand jury, just to give you some perspective, is made up of 13 people. What that decision means today is that group thinks there is enough evidence for Officer Delkey to go on trial for murder right here in this building in downtown Nashville. You'll remember Delkey shot and killed Hambrick back in July in North Nashville, and surveillance video really has been key during this investigation, showing Delkey chasing Hambrick near public housing on Joe Johnston Avenue. Prosecutors arguing Hambrick's back was turned and he was running away. Delkey's attorney, on the other hand, says, well, Hambrick had a gun, and Delkey was not only worried for his own safety, but also for the safety of all those folks living in that neighborhood. Already a lot of reaction from today's decision. The Fraternal Order of Police calls this murder charge politically motivated and released this statement. Look here, Officer Delkey lawfully defended his life after a convicted felon pointed a loaded military-grade semi-automatic weapon at him and refused commands to drop the gun. That's not a crime. It's what Officer Delkey and every other police officer in America is trained to do to protect their lives and others. As this process moves forward, we intend to ensure that Officer Delkey gets the rigorous defense he deserves. We're confident that in the end he will be cleared of these charges. Delkey's attorney, David Rabin, also releasing this statement here, saying Officer Delkey appreciates the outpouring of support he's received from members of the community who understand the difficult and often life-threatening situations faced by our police officers every day. While no citizen looks forward to a trial on allegations such as this, Officer Delkey and his defense team will trust in the jury system. We will enter a plea of not guilty to this charge. Now, this is important here. Delkey has already bonded out, so he will not be rearrested. He'll actually be able to stay at home until his trial starts. By the way, no official date has yet been set for trial. Lauren?
Okay, Kim St. Onge reporting live for us right now. Thank you. I want to bring our chief investigative reporter, Jeremy Finley, into this. I mean, you have been just front and center in all the coverage, all of this time of this story. Let's talk about what we need to take away from this now that he's been indicted.
First off, Lauren, of course, the significance of this. A working police officer is now going to stand trial for murder. This is an early victory for District Attorney Glenn Funk. Here's why. Funk argued in court that Daniel Hambrick didn't threaten the officer or anyone else that day. The DA says video shows when Hambrick saw Officer Delkey, he simply ran for unknown reasons. And Funk believes Officer Delkey had no reason to shoot and kill Daniel Hambrick. Funk believes this is a case of a police officer shooting a man who wasn't a threat several times in the back as he ran. Now, Delkey's defense feels completely different. They point out that Hambrick was carrying a gun when he ran, and Delkey himself told the TBI that he felt that he and all of the people in that area were in danger. Listen to the officer's own words.
Not only am I risking my life, but the lives of other bystanders. So all these things are going through my mind, in split seconds. So I decided to take action to beat his action. I yell at him one more time, drop the gun or I'm going to shoot you.
So this is a trial that will likely be watched all over the country. Every step to get to this point is a real challenge for the DA's office. But he's already convinced a judge and then a grand jury that there's enough evidence, Lauren, to send this to trial.
Okay, so he's done those two steps, but a trial is a whole lot different.
Totally different ballgame. Of course, what we're talking about here is where reasonable doubt comes in. The DA has to convince a jury beyond a reasonable doubt that this police officer murdered this man, that this wasn't just an officer trying to protect his community.
Have you heard anything about the timeline yet about this here?
Sure. So I looked into this. So it'll likely be between probably 7 to 10 days that this will go before criminal court.
Okay.
That's when the arraignment will come in. The arraignment is where he will enter his plea. We've already heard Kim report that he's going to enter not guilty.
Right.
But keep in mind throughout all of this, Delkey continues to work for the police department.
Right.
He's decommissioned, which means he doesn't have a weapon. He's still doing administrative duties right now, but he is working for the police department as this goes on.
Wow, fascinating. Yeah. Okay, Jeremy, thank you. We know you're going to continue your coverage as we go along, and we have covered this story from the beginning. You can see all of our in-depth reporting on Officer Delkey's case just by searching for this story on our News 4 app.